Good morning. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to the Pitch Strike Chronicles. I am Uncle Tats. Rob will be at work. Donald is working on some technical issues, so he will be joining us very shortly. And as John the Beagle Dad says, let's get this party started. And it's not so much of a party, though, John. Unfortunately, one of our beloved Yankees will be out for the season. And it was really tough to watch when you watch that play unfold with Oswaldo Cabrera. And our thoughts and prayers go out to him. Speedy recovery. I think the whole, not even just the Yankee universe, I think the baseball universe is really rooting for this kid to get back to, get back on his feet as fast and as healthy as possible to continue his career. Because he is one of those, and you saw the mood of all the players from that point going forward to finish off the game, and you could just tell that they were beside themselves as much as we were. It's one of those. If there's ever a player that may not be the absolute superstar that just you rally around because of his positivity, it's Oswaldo Cabrera. I think Grisham said it best in his interview with Meredith when he made the statement. He's like, he's all of us. It was really, really, it was tough to watch. And it was just as tough to hear all the reactions from all the players, the coaching, and shout out to the Mariners. They really, they were just as upset as the Yankees were on the Cabrera injury. Like, they were just stunned. On X, the Mariners put a statement out wishing him a speedy recovery as well, which was a very classy move. You get upset just talking about it. Donald, good morning. I led off with Cabrera because there's no proper, it just seemed like the proper way to really kick this off today.
Of course.
With the way that injury went down, the mood. I tweeted out on my. This is probably one of the tougher wins that we've watched in a while, because of the events that unfolded. What were you thinking?
Well, it's very sobering, first of all.
Yeah.
And I want to send my heartfelt wishes to Oswaldo Cabrera for a speedy recovery. So us as a channel, we all wish him very, very well and to get recovered as soon as possible and as healthy as possible. And we wish him the best. Absolutely tragic injury, obviously, because he established himself as a starting third baseman. And he was handling himself and absolutely soundly. To have the opportunity ripped away from him is heartbreaking for him. It was just awful. If you saw the way that his ankle landed,
oof,
his foot was not in a natural position. So it's very sobering, isn't it? It just kind of reminds you, obviously, when you're just watching the game, you're like, oh, let's go Yankees, whatever. But it can all just go like that. Just one bad slide, one awkward slide, and your season's done. And that's just what happened to him. I hope he's able to come back strong next year, or for however long it takes. But yeah, very sobering. And I honestly think that the Yankees were shell shocked, and I think they played a little shell shocked yesterday. And I can't necessarily win.
Yeah, it was. Yesterday was going to be. It was. It's easy to say in hindsight. It was going to be one way or another. They were either just going to, really battle out for them, or it was just going to kind of take the life out of the series. There's still one more game to go this afternoon at 3. but you could just see that the aura last night was just different. And we'll get more into last night's game, but um, you get a player like Cabrera who's all smiles. I mean, and like I said, Donald, before you were able to jump on, I don't know if you were able to hear, but he's one of those. He's not that superstar player, but if there's ever a player you just root for, and you rally behind, he's probably the least selfish player in that ball club. And not to take away from anybody else on the team, but he's like, whatever I could do to help the team, whether it's sit on the bench or play on the field, he just smiles about it. So I think that's what's making this a harder pill to swallow.
Absolutely, I agree with that. As I say, he's such a positive guy. He just engenders a lot of positivity, and he plays the game with a smile on his face. He's always really, really kind to people who goes and talks to him, and he's just a good dude, all around good dude. And you never want to see that happen to anyone, but least of all him. Let's be honest, like that dude deserves good things to happen to him. And as I say, he finally got his opportunity, finally got his starting third base job, and it's a shame. And it just came from a freak accident. You know what I'm saying? Like, it would be one thing if like a ball hit him and maybe injured him or something like that, something that was like a regular part of the game, but just to be sliding and then just for the ankle just to turn like horribly. It's shocking. It really is shocking, and it's really hard to put into words. I wish I could be more, I wish I could really say more, but it's really just shocking. It's just a horrible injury to happen to anyone.
Yeah, I think
One of
that
the worst.
just
Broken ankle. It's just a fractured ankle. It's one of the hardest things to come back from.
yeah. I think that it actually speaks to the levity of the situation where the two of us who have really in our life never had an issue with pen to paper to really feel to be this at a loss for words.
Yeah.
That's what Cabrera meant to this organization and the atmosphere of the clubhouse. So, I mean, the first thing he asked judges was, "Did I score?" I mean, he was still in that mindset of playing the game. When you first see the medics come, you saw both medical teams come out, and that was right then and there. You knew it was going to be bad.
And that's probably another aspect of why we all loved him is that he was always a team first player. It wasn't just because he was such a like a good positive guy. He was a real team first guy because, as you just said right there, he was hurt. He fractured his ankle, but he still crawled his way back to the plate in order to get the score. That's for me, that's a baller move. That's a brave move. That's a tough thing to do, man. So despite the pain, that dude's a warrior, man. They crawled back towards the plate in order to tag it to get the score, and then asked Aaron Judge if he scored. And that's it just shows that he was all about the team and he was all about winning. And yeah, as I say, if there's you never want to see that to happen to anyone, but least of all him. And just to confirm, it was a fractured ankle. Acevedo says the catcher turned his face as soon as he saw the foot. Yeah, the foot went like a 180-degree angle. Just shocking, absolutely shocking.
Yeah, and I want to start to turn it more into into the on-field play the last couple of games because there was a lot of baseball to be there's still a lot of baseball to be talked about in these two games. But also let's give credit for the Yes Network. I gave him a big shout out for not replaying it, and just respecting the levity of the situation where they didn't cut to a commercial break. They left it really on Cabrera, and the attention he was getting. So
Yeah.
I do want to give a big credit because that could have been, a network moment to play it over and over again with replays. We'll cut to a commercial. We'll be back and give you an update. They really, I thought that as much as we critique the Yes Network, I thought they came off with the win on the broadcasting end.
Then you're discussing one of the bad things about metal spikes, unfortunately. Yeah, because if the spike gets caught in the dirt, these things can happen.
Yeah, it's not like a plastic that could break off. Yeah.
The player is not dead; he is hurt and will survive and recover. Did I score was awesome? Let's see, alternatives are awesome helping. Now, well, I agree with the second part of the thing, but the first bit, I mean, no one's claiming that he's passed away, brother. I'm just we're showing respect to him because it's going to be heartbreaking for him because obviously he's going to miss the entire year, and this was a great opportunity for him. So. And it's also just a shocking injury. I mean, my God, if you never want to see a body part being 180-degree angle. So I'm just showing proper respect to him. I ain't saying that he's, that he's passed away or anything like that. It's a bit kind of pointless thing to message, right?
Yeah, we're not trying to make it seem like he's, we're never going to see him again. He's going to be back at I doubt. I mean, he's not going to be back this season, but he will be back on the field. I can almost guarantee you that. But I want to give a quick thank you. We got Dev. We did re-up his memberships for 6.
Thank you, Dev. Appreciate it.
Membership. Dev, you are the best. I haven't talked to you in a while. I haven't talked to you on the phone in a while. We'll have to have a little text back and forth later on, catch up on the family. But appreciate you hitting that membership for another 6 months. I know we're on YouTube and we're also on X and Facebook. I'm going to bring up this Facebook comment here real quick. Good morning, Sue Gordon. Cannot believe the pain Oswaldo is in. And still crawled to the plate with an awesome young man. He will be missed for sure. Absolutely. Well, and that is kind of the somber sentiment to kick off the show.
That's exactly what I was pointing out earlier. I was like, that's a baller move. That's an incredibly brave guy. Can you imagine the overwhelming pain with a fractured ankle, especially with one as grisly as that? To still crawl to the plate and make sure that he scored. I mean, God, that's really impressive, man. And it also shows the fortitude that he's going to come back. He's going to fight back.
Yeah,
he will. If he can crawl back and score, he ain't going to let an injury stop him. So I'm sure he'll be back next year, fit and healthy. But I do agree with that. It was a great comment. I loved it. Despite it all, he crawled back to make sure he scored.
But prior to that play, we're going to get it. Let's get into more of the gameplay.
First of all, David's got a comment here, off topic. Let's go next, baby. Yeah, Brunson, let's go. Let's go.
Before we do shift the mood, right? And definitely. And I'm not, me, Donald. We've known each other for years now. I've never been a big basketball fan, but I'm catching a little bit of fever with these Knicks playing.
No, baby.
I'm not sitting watching the game, but I'm checking Google and I'm refreshing the score to keep an eye on what's going on. But
48 minutes from the conference finals, baby. Oh my God.
It also, also a healthy recovery for Tatum as well. You never want to see, that type of injury, especially in such an important series like the Knicks and Celtics were in.
Plus, it gives the scumbags an excuse to claim that they wouldn't have rightfully lost.
Yeah, I've seen those. I'm like, whatever. I think they would have won that game whether he was on the court or not. But that's just my opinion as a naive observer. But
absolutely, F Boston.
But there was an offensive outburst in that first game. to kick off the series in Seattle, and until yesterday, and we'll get to yesterday because that was probably one of the more entertaining pitching duels that I've ever seen. But the Yankee bats are really enjoying this West Coast trip. I think what is it? 4 of the last 6 games they had scored 10 or more runs. The bats were feeling it, and if the pitchers are going to make mistakes, they're going to capitalize on every mistake.
No, it's fun, man. Offensive extravaganza, but it's all about Trent Grisham. Let's be honest. This is a Trent Grisham show.
He's the story of the season.
The man. It makes you wonder, how is he such a dude? I think his career best was 17 home runs for a season.
He's going to beat that by the end of the month.
He's going to get that by the end of the month.
He might get that before they get back to New York.
Right. He could. End of this West Coast trip. Shit. I know. Honestly, it's insane. Like, I mean, I always liked him. I liked him last year. I mean, I'm not saying anything that's like that's massive here. I'm saying I genuinely believe that he should have done a hell of a lot more than he did last year. He's a better player than Verdugo, and the Yankees kind of dropped the ball by not using him more last year. But even still, he's a completely different player this year, even than last year. So, yeah, he's on 12 homers and 22 RBIs already in 35 games. In 76 games, he had 9 home runs. So last year. So he's already just eclipsing what he did last year. So his career best was in 2022, 17 home runs. He's his second best was in 2021, 15. So he's going to absolutely nail that by June. He's topping that by June at this rate. Easy. Shit. I mean, he's on course to hit like 30 home runs this year. OPS 1,025. His career best OPS was 808 back in 2020. So this is a career year for him.
Yeah, no, it is. And Acevedo, I don't want to put that juju in the on him, but no, I just think, like Nick said, he's 20 years old. He's barely entering his prime. But it also goes, like we were saying last year, he was almost like an afterthought. Like there were times we forgot he was even on the team. They were using him so sporadic. Now this year they're putting a little, Boone, to his credit, is giving more playing time to the bench. And we've given him credit for that. Will we praise him every time? No, because it's not always working. But I'll give him credit for trying to make sure that nobody gets, especially guys like Grisham, and anybody in the outfield. He's not letting them go cold. So and he's rotated them all in and out of the lineup very well.
Well, Grisham,
he's got to be in there every day.
Well, he's unbenchable. He's just simply unbenchable.
Yeah.
You can't bench that. You'd have to be a moron. So I'm not giving Boone credit for that. You'd have to be completely and utterly moronic not to see what Trent Grisham's doing. He has to play him. God, look what he's doing.
You can't let Dominguez, Bellinger, you can't let those guys get, start to cool off either. Because actually, Dominguez is having, I mean, he tore it up in Sacramento. But you can see, the results will vary from series to series. But he's putting together some good at bats too. He got screwed in that call yesterday. We'll get into yesterday's game in a little bit before we get, we still got a ways to go before we sign off. But we are 20 minutes in, so let's take a little pause, collect our thoughts a little bit, and let's give our roll call out to the chat. We got Krista Flash hanging out with us. Krista Flash, how's everything going? Love seeing you back in the chat. If you don't know, Crystal Flash does have his own YouTube channel, so make sure you go and you subscribe to him as well. Dorman, what's going on? I see you sneaking in. Stephen B, Jared, yeah, overslept watching the game. I was up, watching the game, and I was still up just in time. Yeah, I was up to do the show. Where were you? Oh, good. We got Lou hanging out with us. Acevedo. We got my cousin Nick, Mets fan since 1982. We got Spencer hanging out with us. John the Beagle about Damian Serrano. We also have Dev Finch. We got Jonathan, who was here bright and early as always. Jason Custodio. Sue Gordon on Facebook was dropping comments. Sue, if you're still listening and you want to join in with the regular chat, just click over on YouTube and you can join that and have a conversation with all the subscribers. But do really appreciate you dropping a comment on your thoughts. We also have, I know Sunil was trying to steal Jonathan's thunder, dropping in at like 1 o'clock in the morning. FJ and we got in Peach Mall 693. And so I think I got everybody in the roll call. If I did miss you, I apologize. As we see you come into the chat from Iran, we will give you your shout out. How amazing, Donald, is Fried's season been for the Yankees? I mean, here's a guy, he came in yesterday. I didn't look to see how it adjusted. It couldn't have adjusted much, only giving up 1 run. But going into that, in 7 starts, going 6-0 with a 1.05 ERA. If there was ever an early Cy Young candidate in the American League, it's got to be him.
Right. That guy's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
He's been everything we've asked for without Cole in the rotation.
Yeah, 6-0 with a 1.11 ERA as of right now. It's actually historic. It's actually like a historically good start. So let's see. If I believe that there is history here. Here we go. This achievement sets a new historical benchmark, marking the lowest ERA by a Yankee in the first 9 starts of a season since the ERA became an official statistic in 1913.
Jesus Christ.
Fried's ERA eclipsed the previous record held by Lefty Gomez, who had an ERA of 127 in 1937, underscoring the significance of Fried's accomplishments in the annals of Yankee history. I just came across that on motorcyclesports.net. That's pretty remarkable. History for Max Fried.
Fried, like I said, when you lose Cole and you lose Heel, even with the addition of Fried, you don't know how he was going to respond to a New York spotlight, and respond to being the guy. And I think that he's answered the bell 2 times over. He's been everything we've needed him to be. And he's a big reason why we have we're in the standings like we are. Even giving up the run yesterday, in that pitcher's duel. And Brian Wu, don't discredit Brian Wu. If you listen to our shows in the offseason, he was the guy when we were talking about trade potential. He was the guy that we mentioned a couple times to make a trade for to boost his rotation. So we were aware of Brian Wu and how good he is. That's why I said it was one of those really fun pitches duels that unfortunately just didn't go in our favor. And the offense, the extra innings that we'll get to that a little bit. But really, right now the discussion is how amazing Fried has been, and he didn't even have all his best pitches. He had to really rely on his fastball. His breaking stuff, I guess he just wasn't really feeling it, and was still able to have that outing. He is unbelievable.
Absolutely, bro. Imagine having history with the best ERA victory since 1937 as a Yankee.
Well, and it's kind of, that push out the chest. That's what Yankees do. We break records. We break them, we make them,
Well said,
and
bro. Well said. But I mean, when you also consider the pitchers of Yankee lore, like Whitey Ford and Ron Guidry,
the pitching resume, you wouldn't think that
Garrett
would have
Cole,
been.
who won the Cy Young a couple years ago, not even he has
Yeah.
gone close to this kind of start. So it speaks to this amazing freaking pitcher that we've acquired. Just makes you kind of wish that Garrett Cole was all right, because could you imagine that as a 1-2 punch?
Well, that is a dream to even think of for a second.
I know, right?
What could be, and I'm more. Let's just see how everything goes when Heel comes back. I mean, I think that's when you're really going to see that's why the standings right now are so important this early in the season, because you want to be as much of ahead of the race as possible for when Heel does get back on the mound, because then to have Fried, Heel, Rodon as your 1, 2, 3. Rodon's had a couple of rough starts, but he's shown he can go on a run of of a few starts where he's looking really solid.
Rodon's been great this year, man.
Yeah, it's Rodon's being bitten by that one inning, but he's still giving you a little bit of depth. He is getting into the game. He'll get you through the sixth.
I think you're underplaying what Rodon's doing this year, man. Rodon's having a really, really good year. He's surprising a lot of people. He's been nigh on dominant, to be honest.
Yeah.
Do you not agree that
he is having his best season as a Yankee? Well, I did say that after the opening day, I said that was his best start since he was with San Francisco.
Yeah,
I'm not trying to downplay Rodon. I'm trying not to let myself be let down, I guess.
Well, I mean, I'm just you can only go by what you're seeing. So obviously, in the 19th of April, he went 6 innings, no earned runs. His next start against the Guardians, he went 7 innings, no earned runs. So that's 2 starts without giving up an earned run. And then the Orioles, 6 innings, 2 earned runs. Padres after that, which is a great hitting lineup, 6 2/3, basically 7 innings, no earned runs. So 3 out of those 4 starts, no earned runs given up. The Athletics, he had that 1 inning where he gave up a couple of runs there. So there was 4 earned runs there that's put his ERA in a 3.29, which is still very good. But he still had 10 strikeouts and gave you a bit of length. So that's basically 4 out of the last 5 starts have been quality starts for Rodon. That's pretty dominant, especially when 2 of them he didn't give up an earned run at all. 3 of them he didn't give up an earned run at all. So it's just he's been great. He's been really good, man.
Yeah. No, maybe I am just kind of downplaying it too much. I'm trying to not get too crazy, because I know I know what'll happen, because it's what I do all the time. I jinx things. I'll either get everything spot on like I did with the first game with Wells' home run, or I completely put egg on my own face. But
you don't need to worry about that, because we can only talk about what we're seeing in front of us.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying.
I can't predict the future. I don't know what the future could be. He might go back to who he is, but I'm giving him credit. There's nothing wrong giving him credit for what he's doing as of right now. It can all change. We don't have a crystal ball. It's only May. I mean, as I say, we're giving Grisham his flowers. We don't know what's going to happen in July, August, but as of right now, he's freaking like a possible all-star center fielder as of right now. So, you just give them credit for what they're doing, and this channel will never shy away from ripping folk for not. So we might as well give them flowers for when they're showing up, right?
That is true. And this is this is the best channel on YouTube. And just so you know, speaking of history that we were talking about with Fried, Just so you know, tomorrow at 8 p.m. will be the next installment of the 85 season, as they are going. We'll have Spencer, Lynn, and Ciara doing the next installment of Heroes and History on the Pinstripe Chronicles. So make sure you tune in for that. It's going to be that's going to be an interesting discussion. Nick and a couple of you have been bringing into the chat the issue with the umpires. And the umpires yesterday, the umpire behind the plate last night was just atrocious. Nick's saying it's the same one that you actually saw a little fire from DeGrom the other day. Like that umpire was Anna. They all suck. And good morning, Anna. They all suck. They're terrible this year. They know that the technology is going to be coming to take their jobs, and it seems like they're just mailing it in now. Yeah, it was going both ways. I'm not just saying that you can't say only the Yankees were getting screwed on calls. The Mariners were getting screwed as well. So it was equally bad. Just Boone just lost his temper way before anybody else can. Because when you see guys like Dominguez, who they're still that rookie, right? When you see, usually those are the guys that just kind of put their head down and they walk back. When you see a guy like Dominguez kind of start to lose his cool a little bit to force Boone to run out and get himself thrown out before his player, that's how bad that umpire was. It was, and he's such a quick hook to throw out Boone. Boone all he did was step out of the dugout to save, to get his player out of the way, and he gets thrown out. Stop being so freaking sensitive. That's the other problem with these umpires. Not only are they blind, but they're too sensitive.
It's good to see Boone get thrown out again. I was waiting for it.
See that.
It's been a while. I was looking forward to it. I think he was oversensitive, and I think he missed a call, and Boone set him straight. I'm all right with that.
Yeah, these umpires were mentored by Angel.
Yeah, no kidding.
And we got Armand. What's going on, Armand? He's saying the ABS system can't come soon enough. Look, and you guys all know I was not a proponent for all this technology. Yeah. Rob Donald and I, we've debated multiple times, keep the human element in, but the humans now don't have the attention span to do their jobs properly. And it does start with the umpires. It does affect the outcome of the game. You should never be talking about the umpires more than the players. And more times than not throughout the season, I could say now we're going to have 7 more shows before the end of the year where we spend 5 or more minutes just on how bad the umpires are. Because that's just how bad they are. And that's how frustrating they get you. Donald, am I wrong? I mean, how many times do we have to spend a whole segment on how bad these freaking umpires are?
I just don't understand why it's taking so long just to put it in place. I mean, tennis have an ABS system. You know what I'm saying? Where you still got the umpire in place. The umpire will still be doing his thing. But in marginal calls, you can get it checked, and it can be done in 2-3 seconds. All right, that was out of bounds. Oh, that was in bounds. Whatever. 15 love, 40-40, whatever. Tennis have it. NBA has a replay review. NFL's replay review. Many replay reviews. But tennis is the best example because it can be done in like 2-3 seconds. It's not a slap in the face for the umpires. It's still, they'll still have a significant responsibility, but it helps them. I don't see how it's taken this long in order to get it in. And of all the things where this is actually useful, I don't see a downside to it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we've been through it. Now there's actually literally a Twitter page where it goes through like the accuracy of each umpire. And many of them that I've come across have been, mediocre at best, some dreadful. So how could it be a bad thing just to give them a little bit of help? ABS, right? That's a ball is a strike because it does significantly impact an at bat. It really does. It significantly impacts an at bat. Just look at like Devin Williams, for example. He's someone that is reliant on being ahead in the count so that his
Airbender.
airbender can swing out of the zone and get people to swing and all that stuff. But if you're behind in the count, then you're gonna have to force fastballs over the plate. So these are the kind of things that if an umpire misses a call, it has significant impact to an at bat. So I can't imagine how this shouldn't be put in place for next year. I know that Boone wasn't a big fan of it, but I think he might change his mind now with the way this season's going. But it's been around the league. I'm not saying that they're particularly bad on the Yankees. It's just it's been a league wide issue. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. The only thing that is going to be affected by the ABS system, and I like this comment here from Doran because it's something that we actually look at and evaluate with our catches, and that's the pitch framing, ability, and that's part of why, it seems like the catcher is completely just being diminished, statistically because with a lot of these rule changes. The pitch framing is it is an important skill for a catcher. And now with once they implement the ABS system, it's going to alter, but Doran, not as much as you might think, because it's not like they're going to be able to challenge every call.
Right.
All right. So they might leave that challenge in their back pocket for later in the innings or in a crucial spot. It's not going to be challenges all willy-nilly.
Right, exactly. So that kind of, obviously Lou's comment here, framing will be obsolete. It's a good point, but you can't challenge everything. So framing will still be in play.
Yeah, and to specifically to the bat with Dominguez, because I gotten home from work and turned it on just to catch. It was right in the beginning of that at bat. And when you look at, you can see the catcher's glove go down and then up. So he had to lower his glove to catch the ball and then bring it back into the zone. That's what the umpire should be seeing, not just us. If he has his glove straight and then kind of brings it up a little bit, that's proper framing.
Yeah,
that's where you could fool the umpire. Because you could just play it off as the impact of the pitch. But when you have to lower your glove first, that already tells you the ball is down.
What up, Anne-Marie? ABS is for vital importance calls that determine the outcome of the game.
Exactly.
I agree. I think it needs to be in place, but let's not overly focus on it.
Yeah.
It's just good to see Edwin get his money's worth. Tats, how would you view last night's game? Obviously, I think if the Yankees kept playing until today, I still don't think that they would have scored an extra innings. So do you put it down to just, great pitching to shut them down, or do you think it was a slight hangover from the injury to Oswaldo?
I think it's actually a proper mixture of both.
Yeah, that's a good way.
I do think they were just a little emotionally drained from the night. But let's not throw away the ability of Seattle's pitching. You saw the statistics of the guys they were bringing in. And like I said earlier, Wu was a player that we were talking about in a trade proposition in the offseason to beef up the rotation. So I'm not discounting what Brian Wu was. He was phenomenal. But when you look at the numbers of some of the other guys that we're bringing in with Spear, who had has been lights out. Munoz, you know, leads the league in saves. So their bullpen are not pushovers. It's not like I don't want to really sell these players short because they are in the major leagues, but it's not like an A's bullpen where you're struggling just to get it to Miller to just close it out with his velocity. They have. I mean, it looked like our bullpen, and our pitching was just as phenomenal. We were just as tough. It was a rare mishap from Hill. That stopped the extension of the game. But like Devin Williams pulled it off.
He was great.
I thought when Williams came in, I thought Denham was game over. Like I still don't have the confidence in Williams yet. I interrupted you.
Williams' airbender was bending.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great sign. Plenty of movement on it. He looked very much in control on the mound. That was definitely one of his better outings. And maybe there's a sign, maybe, just maybe, that he's turning it around. I'm not. It's just that was the most confident that I've seen him, and that's a good sign. His airbender was moving really well. His location was great. It's definitely a possible indicator that it's going to get better for him. Maybe. Maybe you don't want to overlook too much, but this is now, I believe, 3 straight outings without giving up a run. So that's good. 3 straight scoreless outings. 4 out of his last 5 have been scoreless outings. It's a possibility that he's turning this around.
Yeah, it's the Yankees. The Yankees have to be able to figure out how to hit good pitching, but that's always what we say every postseason. The good pitching is going to prevail, and it's just a matter of the pitchers not making the mistake, not so much the hitters. So no, and there's still a long way to go before you start evaluating this lineup into the postseason. Because I mean, they're looking pretty damn good. I mean, they put the Mariners on the ropes a couple times last night, and their pitchers they didn't give up the big hit. That's why I'm saying it was an all around pitchers duel. It wasn't like the bats were lazy. I mean, there was some legitimate, like you got long at bats yesterday. It wasn't like we were just kind of whiffing all over the place. Just trying to make contact. We really were putting solid at bats together. It just didn't, didn't go our way last night. It's gonna happen. I'm not totally pissed off that we lost because it was a tradition. It really was that type of pitch duel.
No, I'm absolutely. I mean, literally, I slept for 6 innings and came back for extra innings, and nothing changed. It was like I missed nothing. Woog's fantastic. Yep. Last year he did 2.89 ERA with 101 strikeouts, and so far this year he got 2.84. So I mean, that guy's an excellent pitcher. So I'm not really surprised that we lost the game. The Mariners are a good team. They're pretty solid.
Yeah.
I mean, when our awards come up on Friday, this might take the L. We should trade Tank for a haul.
No, I've actually seen that a few places on social media. But it was not Trent. There are people now talking about trading Rice when Stanton gets back and getting a haul for Rice. I'm like, you guys are just dumb. It's too early in the season to be talking about this shit. We all kept saying with DJ coming back, and we're going to close out with DJ. We have to. But even when we were talking about when DJ was coming back, like, how you know, and sometimes it's it's a blessing and a curse, but it always finds a way to work itself out. Unfortunately, we had the injury to Cabrera, like we spent some time on earlier, and it's kind of like, all right, it all fell into place because now the transaction kind of took care of itself. To be, it sounds a little callous, but you guys get the drift of what I'm trying to say.
I think you're Lou. I think you're overreacting in terms of how do you know that he's going to command a huge haul? I think Armand's got a good point here. He's a free agent after this season. Like, how much of a haul are you expecting to get out of him? And why would you take away someone who's giving you Gold Glove caliber defense in center field and who's top 5 in the majors in home runs? I mean, for $5 million, why wouldn't you try and extend him? If he has a great year and he hits like 30 homers this year, why wouldn't you try and extend him? I mean, his option was only $5 million. I mean, it just seems like a bargain. We're getting a bargain out of it. I mean, that's the kind of lightning in a bottle. It's the kind of bargain that teams dream of having. Someone who's getting paid $5 million to be having a year that he's having right now. That's the kind of stuff that you want to hold on to. We have enough examples where people struggle in New York with big resumes. Just look at Joey Gallo, for instance. Multiple All-Stars just come to New York and just completely crumble. You got a guy that is kind of viewed as like a part-time center fielder, fourth outfielder / solid kind of back end of the lineup bat for $5 million, and he's now giving you like excellent numbers, top numbers. That's the kind of shit you want to hold on to. I don't see why you want to trade that.
Yeah, no, he's not getting a Hicks-like contract, or no, I don't see that. I don't know what I think the Yankees will make an offer for him in the offseason, and the option that was being referred to was the one that we picked up to keep him for this season. Not that we don't, he's got no option after this. We know he's a free agent. But no, look, like Anna says, Trenton's been worth every penny. And, we kind of took the L after the start he got, because not that we were trashing him, but we were like, where does he factor in? What's he going to offer to us? Because I think he only played in 24 games last year. How many times did we joke around? We forgot he was even on the team.
I hated the Yankees' usage of him last year, though. I thought it was awful.
Especially if he could have been this last year.
Right.
But he's also a Gold Glove center fielder. Let's not just focus only on his offense. His defense is stellar.
It's really good. And Verdugo's freaking ass.
So if they're going to offer him a contract, as long as it's a respectable contract that favors both the Grisham and the Yankees, and they don't overpay, I have no issue with that as of now. So
yeah,
he's giving us 5 points more than what Verdugo did.
Far too much last year.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have much preferred to have seen Verdugo in the lineup every day as opposed to Verdugo, and I think the lineup would have been 100 times better. But to be honest, I'm not even speaking out of school. Aaron Boone admitted that he underplayed Grisham. So It's not a case of us just speculating. When our own manager admits, and he very rarely admits his own mistakes, but he obviously clearly admitted his mistakes last year, said that he underplayed Grisham. But also, Grisham's come back stronger. He's come back a better player. Come back mentally stronger as well. I don't think he could handle not being used at all last year, and I think it was affecting him, and I think he started playing a bit lazy. As you could see last year, he played a little lazy at times. But he's come back with a different attitude this year. He's just locked in. He's also much more aggressive at the plate than he was last year. Like, he would let fastballs kind of go by and work the count more last year. This year, he's sitting fastball, and once he gets his fastball, he absolutely tattoos it out of the yard. He's much more aggressive. It's working for him. He's locked in mentally. It's working for him. These are the kind of guys that you need to be playing most every day.
Yeah. The other guy we really need, as far as with any extensions or trades, I think we need to put this on the shelf until a more of an appropriate time for it. Let's just enjoy what he's giving us right now. And we'll worry about, the rest, the business side of it later on. Because it's just too much fun watching him to really get into the trades in the all season extensions. I think it's still premature for that.
Absolutely. I mean, once we
But
get into July, we can or late June, we can start talking about the
yeah,
deadline. We're
like,
ways away yet.
just enjoy the run while we can. That's all I'm doing is just enjoying the show. And I hope you're all enjoying the show. Make sure you hit that like button. Let's get to the final topic of the day, Donald. It's the one that nobody really wants to talk about. And DJ LeMahieu has returned to the Yankees, and everybody was saying, get rid of him, don't even bring him back, I don't know if you caught on X. I saw a handful of tweets on the lineup. And people go, well, if you're bringing him up, why aren't you playing him? Oh, so now we want to play him? We want to go right into the lineup? What? Now that he's back, we're just going to push the kids to the side? Thank you, Boone, for not putting him in the starting lineup.
Right.
All right? You want to use the way they used him yesterday, I was fine with. You want to get him into a game late innings. You're like Rob. I think Rob tweeted out. He goes, "Yeah, it figures it would be DJ to start the extra inning." But I didn't think he looked. I'm not going to judge one at bat. I'm not going to judge one play in the field. I don't want to say it was a non-factor with him being in the game. Let's just see. Let him get another hand. Let him get his 50 at bats, and let him get a start in the lineup before we start really judging him. But the amount of people that would just cry because he wasn't in the starting lineup, I'm like, shit. You guys are all lucky I don't go. I'm not one of those and start pulling receipts up because I'd embarrass half the fucking Twitter universe.
My man, stand on business. Yeah, because you can't win. Had he played DJ instead of Vivas, then you know that there'd be a whole chunk of people going, "Where's Vivas? Where's Vivas?" You know what I'm saying? But the fact that he gave DJ a day and kept Vivas in the lineup was, "Oh, where's DJ?" You can't make everybody happy. You can't make people happy, and nowadays. So you just got to stand and do what you feel is right. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, unfortunately, as it's turned out, we need him. That's
the bottom line of it.
As of 48 hours ago, we didn't need him. We had Oswaldo Cabrera playing. We had Peraza. We had Vivas.
And Vivas is still going to get his chance. Peraza was still in the lineup, which is what we all want.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is 48 hours ago, we didn't need him because at the end of the day, you had Oswaldo Cabrera playing every day at third, and then you could have put Peraza and Vivas platooning at second. We didn't really need LeMahieu. Unfortunately, within 48 hours, now we need an everyday second baseman or third baseman, depending on where DJ wants to play or where Boone wants to play DJ. Now we need him. It's just as simple as that. We need him now. So might as well use him and hope that he doesn't break down. I still feel that the fact he needed like an injection in his hip, a cortisone shot in his hip just like a couple of weeks ago makes me feel like I don't think he can handle wear and tear anymore of an extended period of time. But he had a very good rehab. He did bat over 400 in his rehab. He was like 9 for 19. That's really good. If he can do anything even remotely close to that, we'd be very, very happy. We'd be jumping for joy. All I'm asking for him is to hit singles and get on base. Just don't ground into double plays.
Just don't be a negative to the
exactly.
Yeah,
hit singles at a decent clip. I'm not even asking for any power from you. His legs are shot. He doesn't have the power anymore. Just don't get injured. Play good defense and get on base a couple of times. And then we revisit this at the deadline because obviously we're going to now need a serious upgrade to the infield at some point. But as of right now, we need him. Whether you like it or not, we need him. And that's unfortunate. That's the unfortunate truth. And that's the way baseball kind of goes, Susan, unfortunately. That's baseball, Susan.
That's baseball, Susan.
That is baseball, Susan, because we talk about, do we really need DJ? Why is DJ even in the roster? Oh, my God. And then a freak injury happens. And now DJ's not just going to be on the roster. He's going to be playing as much as possible. So let's just hope he can stay healthy. I mean, listen, no one's hating on DJ. Not on this channel. I mean, I've always been a big fan. You guys know it. DJ's been one of my favorite hitters. Absolutely. I've always been, because I'm an old school guy. I like old school hitting, and his approach is old school. He was just a 300 hitter in the high 300s, and he was freaking awesome. And he was clutch. And those are the kind of things that I look for.
He was DJ LeMahieu.
Yeah, and he was LeMahieu. And it's just desperately unfortunate that his legs completely turned into dust. But let's just hope that he can give us something. And if he gives us something, then he's going to turn this whole thing around, and then we're going to be like, let's go DJ. I mean, if he can play even close to the back of his baseball card, then this tune that we're singing will be completely different. And we'll be like jumping for joy because we do need another quality bat. If DJ can somehow, hopefully that magic cortisone shot has given him the gift of youth. Because if he can hit like he did back in 2022, then we are going to be dancing. Can't say I'm confident of it, but I want to be proven wrong. And I'm rooting for DJ because he's a good dude and a hell of a hitter.
Yeah, I'll bring this comment before I get my final thoughts on the sidewalk. We credited him for his minor league, his rehab starts. We even said on Monday he was batting. I think he was batting like 419.
Yeah, 919, I believe it was.
But yeah, at the end of the show, we were at Donald asked Rob and I the question, where we see him fitting in, and and I think offensively, I said, well, if you could ride the hot streak, ride the hot bat right now, then that's fine. If he's struggling, then you make the adjustment. And that was before the injury to Cabrera, and that changed the whole dynamic of the conversation with DJ. Now, what I would recommend defensively is leave him at second. Don't push that hip in the hot corner. I think that will. I think that's going to reverse the progress.
Do you think that's why they're wanting him at second? Is that why? Do you think they are wanting him at second? Do you think it's actually for help?
I think they're going to lean more towards second. I think they just realized between his foot and his hip, the hot corner, it's just going to be overwhelming. Not that he's a scrub player there. I just don't think they're going to want to push it. That's my
he's actually a Gold Glove second baseman.
Yes. Yeah, and we've seen a few times. As long as he might not have the batting average like he did when he when he won the batting title, but if he can give us Gold Glove caliber defense, with that infield, then I think we're going to be in really good shape. And say, DJ's really holding his own. I don't want to say, he's, having an all-star year, but if he's holding his own for the issues that he's dealing with when Jazz gets back, and if you need to, you just put Jazz at third, where Jazz is very comfortable and he's very durable. So with Jazz Volpe, LeMahieu, Goldschmidt, that's really not a terrible infield. That's actually a pretty good infield.
And he's got my boy Blue Peraza. He's going to be playing at third. I'm not going to lie. Part of me is excited to see my boy Blue playing third base more, basically every day. He has to. You're my boy Blue. You're my boy Peraza. You're my boy Blue.
Yeah, well, yeah, Peraza is going to be he's going to be the wild card if he takes this spot over the next few weeks until we have a little, because we haven't really heard much on Jazz. Hopefully there'll be some updates soon, but
I think he's a while away, man.
Yeah, I think I saw somewhere in the chat earlier that there was a report like 8 weeks. I don't think there's not many people in this chat that throw out bad information.
Right, and he was also awful. He was like striking out almost at a 50%.
He was struggling.
Horrendous.
Oh yeah. But with that, we will be back on Friday morning. Enjoy this afternoon's game. We will have our awards Friday. Plus, we will be breaking down.
What time is the opening pitch?
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock
start.
All right. Do we have the lineups yet?
You know what? I haven't.
It might be a little early for that.
It might be. Let's see here. I'm sure somebody in the chat would have said something. They don't leave us hanging. No, nothing yet.
Nothing yet.
So, but we will also be breaking down the Subway Series. Juan Soto's return to the Bronx. So Friday is going to be jam-packed. Clear your schedules, because I can almost guarantee, put it in the books, there's going to be extra innings on the show on Friday. We don't know when it's going to end. But
buckle up.
I wish it was Friday already. But 4:10. Thanks, Anna. I thought it was 3 o'clock.
Damn it, Tats.
The old school. With that, hit that like button, hit that sub button, share this out, your friends, your family. The Strangers on the Corner. I'm Uncle Tats. I was here with Donald and all of you fine people. And just always remember, wear those pinstripes of pride and play hard.
Hit the likes! Like!